I'm Paula Schaap, Markets Editor at The Deal. I'm speaking to Greg Taxin, Managing Director at Clinton Group. Greg, The Deal followed your campaign with Wet Seal very closely, and I thought that might be interesting in retrospect, because it was a very successful campaign, to explore what happened. I remember that, in fact, there was this great moment where the company was not willing to accept that you'd won your consent solicitation. And my question is, why did you do a consent as opposed to what we usually expect to see with an activist campaign, a proxy battle? Why in this particular case?
So most activists in most activist situations call for a proxy fight during the annual meeting season, or in rare occasion, calling for a special meeting and a vote through the typical proxy process at a meeting of shareholders. In the case of Wet Seal, the problems as we identified them arose soon after the company's annual meeting. And our choice was either to wait for 9 or 10 months for the next annual meeting, or to do something in the interim period.
Okay, so you had a certain inflection point that was going on at the company that made you come in faster. So you needed to go the consent. Is that what I'm understanding? What was that inflection point? What were you seeing at that particular juncture?
Well, we had approached the board regarding the performance issues, really the long-running performance issues at the company. And their response was to fire the CEO, which wasn't necessarily what we were looking for, but it meant that the board had hired and fired 3 CEOs in a 5-year period. And our concern was this same board now is going to choose a 4th CEO, and we didn't have any confidence that the 4th CEO would be any better.
Another example of what that might be?
Well,
either something just in the news or something that you've also been involved with?
The circumstances vary widely for sure. I mean, we've been following closely the situation with Vivus.
Okay, and Vivus is of course
it's
that's
a
the
biotechnology company
right.
that First Manhattan very successfully ran a proxy fight, over the summer, the end of the summer. They did a great job. We're completely supportive of what they're doing. What we've seen there, though, is the stock has really gotten pummeled in the last 4 to 6 weeks, not because of something the company did, but because of the way that some Wall Street analysts have written about the company. In the last couple days, the stock is up substantially, as I think people have taken a closer look at what the research analysts have written, concluded they were probably wrong. Other analysts have come out in support of the company. We think there's still some misinformation in the market about Vivus and its intellectual property.
So where would funds like yourselves fit into that scenario, potentially?
Well, this is a somewhat obviously unusual situation, but we think
Which you like, apparently.
We like unusual situations, but we think we've got information that can be helpful to our fellow shareholders to provide them additional comfort about the company's IP estate and the value of the patents that they have and their protectability and survivability through a challenge.
All right. Well, thank you very much, Greg. I appreciate the time.